Morphology of a flowering plant. The wide range in the structure of a higher plant will never fail to fascinate us, even though the angiosperms show such a large diversity in external structure or morphology. They are all characterized by the presence of root, stem, leaves, flower, and fruits. In chapter 2 and 3, we talked about classification of plants based on morphological and other characteristics. For any successful attempt at classification and at understanding any higher plant, or for that matter any living organism, we need to know standard technical terms and standard definition. We also need to know about the possible variation in different parts found as adaptation of the plant to their environment. Example: adaptation to various habitat for protection, climbing, storage, etc. If you pull out any weed, you will see that all of them have roots, stems, and leaves. They may be bearing flower and fruits. The underground part of the flowering plant is the root system, while the portion above the ground from the shoot system. The root. In majority of the dicotyledonous plant, the direct elongation of the radicle lead to the formation of a primary root which grow inside the soil. It bear lateral roots of several orders that are referred to as secondary, tertiary, etc. roots. The primary root and its branches constitute the taproot system as seen in mustard plant. In monocotyledonous plant, the primary root is short-lived and is replaced by a large number of roots. These roots originate from the base of the stem and constitute the fibrous root system. As seen in the wheat plant, in some plants like grasses, monster, and the banyan tree, roots arise from the part of the other plant other than the radicle and are called adventitious root. The main function of the root system are absorption of water and mineral from the soil, providing a proper anchorage to the plant, storing reserve food material, and synthesize plant growth regulators. Region of the root. The root is covered at the apex by a thimble-like structure called the root cap. It protects the tender apex of the root as it makes its way through the soil. Few millimeters above the root cap is the region of meristematic activity. The cells of this region are very small, thin-walled, and with dense protoplasm. They divide repeatedly. The cells proximal to this region undergo rapid elongation and enlargement and are responsible for growth of the root in length. This region is called region of elongation. The cells of the elongation zone gradually differentiate and mature, hence this zone proximally to region of elongation is called the region of maturation. From this region, some of the epidermal cells form very fine and delicate thread-like structure called root hair. These root hair absorb water and mineral from the soil. The stem. What are the features of distinguish a stem from a root? The stem is the ascending part of the axis, bear branches, leaves, flowers, and fruits. It develops from the plumule of the embryo of a germinating seed. The stem bears nodes and internodes. The region of the stem where leaves are born are called nodes, while internodes are the portion between two nodes. The stem bears buds, which may be terminal or axial. The stem is generally green when young and later often become woody and drag bound. The main function of the stem is spreading out branches bearing leaves, flowers, and fruits. It conducts water, mineral, photosynthate. Some stems perform the function of storing of food, support, protection, and of vegetative propagation. The leaf. The leaf is a lateral, generally flattened structure borne on the stem. It develops at the node and bears a bud in its axil. The axillary bud later develops into a branch. Leaves originate from the shoot apical meristem and are arranged in an acropetal order. They are most important vegetative organ of photosynthesis. A typical leaf consists of three main parts: leaf, base, petiole, and lamina. The leaf is attached to the stem by the leaf base and may bear two lateral small leaf-like structure called stipule. In monocotyledons, the leaf base expands into a sheath covering the stem partially or wholly. In some leguminous plants, the leaf base may become swollen, which is called pulpinous. The petiole help hold the blade to light. Long, thin, flexible petiole allow leaf blade to flutter in wind, thereby cooling off the leaf and bring fresh water to the leaf surface. The lamina or the leaflet is the green expanded part of the leaf with vein and veinlet. There is usually a middle prominent vein which is known as the midrib. Vein provide rigidity to the leaflet and act as a channel of transport of water, mineral and food material. The shape, margin, apex, surface and extent of inclusion of lamina varies in different leaves. Venation. The arrangement of veins and the veinlet in lamina of the leaf is termed as venation. When the veinlet form a network, the venation is termed as reticulate. When the veins run parallel to each other within a lamina, the venation is termed as parallel. Leaves of dicotyledonous plant generally possess reticulate venation, while parallel venation is the characteristic of most monocotyledons. Type of leaves. A leaf is said to be simple when its lamina is entire or when incised. The incision do not touch the midrib. When the incision of the lamina reach up to the midrib, breaking it into a number of leaflets, the leaf is called compound. A bud is present in the axil of the petiole in both simple and compound leaves, but not in the axil of the leaflet of the compound leaf. The compound leaf may bear of two types. In a pinnately compound leaf, a number of leaflets are present on a common axis. The rachis, which represent the midrib of the leaf as a nib. In flamelet compound leaf, the leaflets are attached at a common point, that is, at the tip of the petiole, as in silk cotton. Phyllotax. The phyllotax is the pattern of arrangement of leaf on the stem or branch. This is usually of three types: alternate, opposite, and whorled. In alternate type of phyllotax, a single leaf arises at each node in alternate manner, as in China rose, mustard, and sunflower plant. In opposite type, a pair of leaves arise at each node and lie opposite to each other, as in calotropis and guava plant. If more than two leaves arise at a node and form a whole, it is called whorled, as in Alstonia. Inflorescence. A flower is a modified shoot wherein the shoot apical meristem changes to floral meristem. Interno do not elongate and the axis get condensed. The apex produce different kind of floral appendages lateral at the successive nodes instead of leaf. When a shoot tip transforms into a flower, it is always solitary. The arrangement of flower on the floral axis is termed as inflorescence. Depending on whether the apex get developed into a flower or continue to grow, two major type of inflorescence are defined: racemose and cymose. In racemose type of inflorescence, the main axis continue to grow. The flower are borne laterally in an acropetal succession. In cymose type of inflorescence, the main axis terminate in a flower, hence it is limited in growth. The flower are borne in basipetal order. The flower is a reproductive unit in angiosperm. It is meant for sexual reproduction. A typical flower has four different kind of whorls arranged successively on the swollen end of the stalk or pedicel, called thalamus or receptacle. These are called calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. Calyx, corolla are accessory organ, while androecium and gynoecium are reproductive organ. In some flower like lily, the calyx and corolla are not distinct and are termed as perianth. When a flower has both androecium and gynoecium, it is bisexual. A flower having either only stamen or only carpel is unisexual. In symmetry, the flower may be actinomorphic radial symmetry or zygomorphic bilateral symmetry. When a flower can be divided into two equal radial halves in any radial plane passing through the center, it is said to be actinomorphic. Example: mustard, dattuda, chili. When it can be divided into two similar halves only in one particular vertical plane, it is zygomorphic. Example: pea, gulmohar, bean, cassia. A flower is asymmetric, irregular, if it cannot be divided into two similar halves by any vertical plane passing through the center, as in canna. A flower may be trimerous, tetramerous, pentamerous when the floral appendages are in multiply of 3, 4 or 5 respectively. The flower with bract reduced leaf found at the base of the pedicel are called bracteate, and those without bract ebracteate. Based on the position of calyx, corolla, androecium in respect of the ovary on thalamus, the flower are described as hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous. In hypogynous flower, the gynoecium occupy the highest position while the other parts are situated below it. The ovary in such flower is said to be superior. Example: mustard, China rose, brinjal. If gynoecium is situated in the center and other part of the flower are located on the rim of the thalamus almost at the same level, it is called perigynous. The ovary here is said to be half inferior. Example: plum, rose, peach. In epigynous flower, the margin of thalamus grow upward, enclosing the ovary completely and getting fused with it. The other part of the flower arises above the ovary, hence the ovary is said to be inferior, as in flower of guava and cucumber and the ray floret of sunflower. Parts of flower. Each flower normally has 4 floral holes: visa, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Calyx. The calyx is the outermost hole of the flower, and the member are called sepals. Generally, sepals are green, leaf-like, and protect the flower in the bud stage. The calyx may be gamosepalous, sepals united, or polysepalous, sepals free. Corolla is composed of petal. Petals are usually brightly colored to attract insects for pollination. Like calyx, corolla may also be gamopetalous, petals united, or polypetalous, petals free. The shape and color of the corolla vary greatly in plant. Corolla may be tubular, bell-shaped, funnel-shaped, or wheel-shaped. Estivation: the mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in floral bud with respect to the other member of the same whole is known as estivation. The main type of estivation are valvate, twisted, imbricate, and vexillary. When sepals or petals in a whole just touch one another at the margin without overlapping, as in calotropis, it is said to be valvate. If one margin of the appendage overlap that of the next one, and so on, as in China rose, ladyfinger, and cotton, it is called twisted. If the margin of sepal or petals overlap one another but not in any particular direction, as in cassia and gulmohar, the estivation is called imbricate. In pea and bean flowers, there are 5 petals. The largest standard overlap the two lateral petal wing, which in turn overlap the two smallest anterior petal keel. This type of estivation is known as vexillary or papilionaceous. Androecium. Androecium is composed of stamen. Each stamen, which represents the male reproductive organ, consists of a stalk or a filament and an anther. Each anther is usually bilobed, and each lobe has 2 chambers, the pollen sac. The pollen grain are produced in pollen sac. A sterile stamen is called staminode. Stamens of a flower may be united with other members such as petal or among themselves. When stamens are attached to the petals, there are epipetalous, as in brinjal, or epiphyllous when attached to the perianth, as in the flower of lily. The stamens in a flower may either remain free polyandrous or may be united in varying degree. The stamen may be united into one bunch or one bundle monoadelphous as in China rose, or two bundles diadelphous as in pea, or into more than two bundles polyadelphous as in citrus. There may be a variation in length of filament with a flower as in salvia and mustard. Gynosium is the female reproductive part of the flower and it is made of one or more carpel. A carpel consists of three parts, namely stigma, style, and ovary. Ovary is the enlarged basal part on which lies the elongated tube, the style. The style connects the ovary to the stigma. The stigma is usually at the tip of the style and is the receptive surface for pollen grain. Each ovary bears one or more ovules attracted to a flattened cushion like a placenta. When more than one carpel is present, they may be free, as in lotus rose, and or called apocarpus. They are termed syncarpous when carpels are fused, as in mustard and tomato. After fertilization, the ovule develop into seeds and the ovary mature into food. Placentation. The arrangement of ovule within the ovary is known as placentation. The placentation are of different types, namely marginal, axial, parietal, basal, central, and free central. In marginal placentation, the placenta form a ridge along the ventral suture of the ovary and the ovules are borne on this ridge, forming two rows as in P. When the placenta is axial and the ovule are attached to it in a multilocular ovary, the placentation is said to be axial, as in Chinaris, tomato, and lemon. In parietal placentation, the ovule develops on the inner wall of the ovary or on the peripheral part. Ovary is one chambered, but it becomes two chambered due to the formation of the false septum. Example: mustard, argemone. When the ovules are borne on the central axis and the septa are absent, as in dianthus and primrose, the placentation is called free central. In basal placentation, the placenta develops at the base of the ovary and a single ovule is attached to it, as in sunflower and marigold. The fruit. The fruit is a characteristic feature of the flowering plant. It is a matured or ripened ovary developed after fertilization. If a fruit is formed without fertilization of the ovary, it is called a parthenocarpic fruit. Generally, the fruit consists of a whorl or pericarp and seeds. The pericarp may be dry or fleshy. When the pericarp is thick and fleshy, it is differentiated into outer epicarp, middle mesocarp, and inner endocarp. In mango and coconut, the fruit is known as a drupe. They develop from the monocarpellary superior ovary and are one-seeded. In mango, the pericarp is differentiated into an outer thin epicarp, a middle fleshy edible mesocarp, and an inner stony hard endocarp. In coconut, which is also a drupe, the mesocarp is fibrous. The seed. The ovule, after fertilization, develops into seed. A seed is made up of a seed coat and an embryo. The embryo is made up of a radical and embryonal axis and one, as in wheat and maize, or two cotyledon, as in gram and pea. Structure of a monocotyledon seed. The outermost covering of a seed is the seed coat. The seed coat has two layers, the outer testa and the inner tegmen. The hilum is a scar on the seed coat through which the developing seed were attached to the fruit. Above the hilum is a small pore called the micropyle. Within the seed coat is the embryo, consisting of an embryonal axis and two cotyledons. The cotyledons are often fleshy and full of reserve food material. At the two ends of the embryonal axis are present, the radicle and the flume. In some seeds, such as castor, the endosperm formed as a result of double fertilization is a food storing tissue and called endospermic seed. In plants such as bean, gram, and pea, the endosperm is not present in mature seed, but such seeds are called non-endospermous. Non-endospermous. Structure of monocotyledon seed. Generally, monocotyledon seeds are endospermic, but some, as in orchid, are non-endospermic. In the seeds of cereals such as maize, the seed coat is membranous and generally fused with the fruit wall. The endosperm is bulky and store foods. The outer covering of endosperm separates the embryo by a proteinous layer called alveolar. Its diploid is 3n. Ploid is 3n. Ploid is 3n. The embryo is small and situated in a group at the end of the endosperm. It consists of one large and sealed shaped cotyledon known as scutellum and a short axis with a flume and a radicle. The flume and the radicle are enclosed in sheath, which are called coleoptile and coleorhiza respectively. Semi-technical description of a typical flowering plant. Various morphological features are used to describe a flowering plant. The description has to be brief in a symbol and a scientific language and represent in a proper sequence. The plant is described beginning with its habitat, vegetative character, root, stem and leaf, and then floral character, inflorescence and floral parts and flower flowers. After describing various parts of a plant, a floral diagram and floral formula are presented. The floral formula is presented by some symbol. The floral formula BR stands for bracteate, K stands for calyx, C for corolla, P for perianth, A for androecium, G for gynoecium, G नीचे बार for superior ovary and G ऊपर बार for inferior ovary. This is for male, this is for female, this is for bisexual plant, and this is for actinomorphic and percentage for zygomorphic nature of plant. Fusion is indicated by enclosing the figure within the bracket and adhesion by a line drawn above the symbol of the floral part. A floral diagram provides information about the number of the part of a flower, their arrangement and the relation they have with one another. The position of the mother axis with respect to the flower is represented by a dot on the top of the floral diagram. Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium are drawn in successive holes. Calyx are bring the outermost and gynoecium bring in the center. Floral formula also show cohesion and adhesion within the part of a hole and between holes. The floral diagram and floral formula in figure 5.16 represent the mustard plant family Brassicaceae. This is Brassicaceae family mustard. Solanaceae. It is a large family commonly called as potato family. It is widely distributed in tropic, subtropic and even temperate zone. Vegetative character. Plant mostly herb and rarely small tree. Stem herbaceous, rarely woody, aerially erect, cylindrically branched, solid or hollow, hairy or glabrous. Underground stem in potato. Solanum tuberosum. Leaves alternate, simple, rarely pinnately compound, eggs stipulate, venation reticulate. Solanum nigrum, Mackay plant का scientific name. Floral character inflorescence solitary, axillary or cymose as in Solanum. Floral bisexual flower bisexual actinomorphic, calyx sepals 5 united, persistent, valvate estivation. Corolla, petal 5 united, valvate estivation. Androecium, stamen 5 epipetalous. Gynoecium, bicarpellary obliquely placed. Syncarpus, ovary superior, bilocular, placenta swollen with many ovules. Axial. Fruits, berry or capsule. Seeds, many endospermous. Floral, actinomorphic, bisexual. Calyx 5. Floral formula, actinomorphic, bisexual. Calyx 5 fused. Corolla 5 fused. Androecium 5. Corolla and androecium are arranged superior ovary. Gynoecium 2 fused. Economic importance. Many plants belong to this family are source of food. Tomato, brinjal, potato, spice chili, medicine belladonna, ashwagandha, fumigatory tobacco, ornamental petunia. Thank you.